The Balanced Scorecard Case Study by Regina Shea Sullivan and Bailey Salvador. Delta Signal Corp is a manufacturing and supplier of automotive electrical parts. They operate in the US, Europe, and Asia. Delta Corp was experiencing financial troubles with rising material and production costs and losing market shares to their competitors. Their strategy of being all things to all customers ended up being flawed. Due to this strategy, they now have over 2,000 distinct products and 100 separate production lines. They are now not a leader of anything, and they do not have clear goals or values. Recently, they cut back on manufacturing costs by closing a few US and UK plants, laid off employees, reduced their R&D budget, and cut back administrative costs. Internal and external analysis. Internal analysis basically is not a leader of anything, wide variety of products and production lines. Sales were down 2011. They are struggling to bring it back up. Losses are slowly recovering, increasing costs. External analysis, losing market share to competitors, lowest annual sales in comparison to competitors, asset turnover lower than industry, price-book ratio lower than industry. In completing an internal and external analysis of Delta Signal Corp., this gave us insight of what we were up against. Upon completing the internal analysis, we determined Delta Signal is not a leader of anything. They have a wide variety of products and production lines. The sales were down in 2011, and they were struggling to bring them back. They experienced losses as well as increases in their costs. Our external analysis determined their annual sales, that was $960 million, was the lowest when we compared them to their competitors. Their asset turnover of 0.95 was lower than the industry's 1.6. And lastly, their price-book ratio, 0.60, was lowest among their competitors in the industry of 2.98. This is our SWOT analysis. Delta Signal produces quality products and are cost competitive. Here are some of their strengths. Acceptable quality products, performance and cost competitive. Their weaknesses is having a strategy that is no longer viable, and they lack clear goals and values. As stated previously, they again are not a leader of anything. They have an old vision and an old strategy, being all things to all customers. It's not working anymore. They only offer about 2,000 products with 100 production lines, so huge weaknesses. Opportunities that Delta has is, such as the luxury OEM in the US and the UK is on the rise, lower priced cars, which will gain market share, growing middle class, low cost strategies. And losing market shares to their competitors, increases in material and production costs, and Chinese government new laws could be a threat. After analyzing Delta Signal's SWOT, we determined the best strategy for them would be to focus on the luxury segment, customer integration strategy. We had a vision that they would be the leader of customer satisfaction, producing quality products. So our strategy was to capitalize on the lack of competitive interest in luxury segment, to become a leader of introduction of BSC and strategic map. We chose luxury segment customer integration strategy to become a leader of customer satisfaction and to produce quality products. This here is our balanced scorecard. Regina and I maintained our focus on customer satisfaction and quality products. We also strive to keep the number of objectives to no more than 5 within each of the 4 perspectives. In doing so, we wanted to prevent having too many objectives and creating chaos among stakeholders. Here is our strategy map. You can see exactly what we chose for each one. Here's our financial objectives. We chose to focus on 3 objectives within the financial perspective: to increase asset turnover, to improve operating income margin, and to increase sales. As you can see in our measurements and graphs, while we were successful in increasing the asset turnover 119, we were not successful in bringing that number above market industry of 1.36. In the beginning of the periods, the operating income margin got off to a rocky start. However, by period 4, it started to rise, and by period 8, it was 4.85. We believe these results may be due to us focusing on customer satisfaction and quality products that we lost focus on lower our operating costs. In reviewing the sales, you will see in period 1, our sales declined. However, by period 8, we were able to increase our sales to $577 million, which we thought was pretty good. This here is our customer objectives and initiatives. We began with selecting minimal initiatives within this perspective. We recognized in order to bring up our measures, we needed to select additional initiatives. In doing so, we saw 2 of our objectives: customers who recommend companies and customers rank company best in class, increase, and the other 2 objectives unfortunately decreased, which was our balanced scorecard objectives with strategic customers and R&D partnerships luxury customers. They stayed at the same level throughout the 4 years. You can see here that through our graphs we did have, a lot of objectives stay at the same or rise. We truly did not see too much of a decline until we got to the sales. This is our internal process objectives and initiatives. In the first period, we again chose only 2 initiatives, which resulted in a decline in sales: operating income and net income. With the removal and replacing of the balanced scorecard budgeting initiatives, we saw how our actions affected 2 of the 4 objectives. For example, in period 5, when we removed the BSC budgeting initiative, there were increases in 2 of the objectives: the department budgets linked to scorecard and the suppliers with low rating. The other 2 objectives, the new designs wear resistant parts and suppliers with an engineer on site, stayed the same. When we added back in the BSC budgeting initiative in periods 6 and 7, there was a minimal change within our graphs. Lastly, through error, we removed the balanced scorecard budgeting initiative in period 8, which resulted in a decline in department budgets linked to scorecard objectives. Lastly, we have our learning and growth objectives and initiatives. In this dimension, we selected and maintained 4 of the initiatives throughout the 8 periods. The initiative selected was merely focusing on customer satisfaction and quality products. As you can see in the beginning periods, the measures started rising slowly, and by the last period, they ended up being a lot higher. Here was our financial statements. In looking at the financial statements in the financials report, the income statement, you can see that in the last year, we were able to increase the sales, operating income, and net income. Although the increases are not as high as we anticipated, we were pleased with the results. We thought that our sales could have been higher, our operating income could have been higher, but our main goal was customer satisfaction, and we both were satisfied with the fact that we feel our customers would have been completely happy. This simulation in class has taught us the importance of strategic management and planning and how each of the 4 dimensions play a significant role in mapping out strategies in achieving success. Thank you for watching, reading, and listening. Thanks.